Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea, the channel that helps men know how to attract and be married to a Filipina. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea and check out the website lvbts.com, where you can also access podcasts on casting beyond the sea. Reekay, Fazio Pop65z, Vandever, Battaglia. Thanks for the memories. What do Reekay and Velez of Life Beyond the Sea, Michael Fazio of Hoodwinked by an Angel, Pop65z, Peter Vandever and Frank Battaglia have in common? Well, they are an eclectic group, but when I married my Filipina in 2015 in the Philippines, I don't recall knowing any YouTube channels of guys who were over there, at least not at that time. Please comment about your favorites or your sentimental favorite Philippines YouTube vloggers. I hope I'm not leaving anyone out, but those are the 5 big names that I latched onto after I got back to America in May of 2015. My wife and I got married in only 54 days, and she was the first Filipina I was serious with, so I really didn't have any time for YouTube and probably didn't even know much about that. I'm sure back then I looked at just a few videos to see what Davao City was like, but that's about it. We were moving so fast, and I needed to get to the Philippines to get married. Starting a new year, I am waxing sentimental and nostalgic and wanted to make a video about the Fab 5 Philippines vloggers I began to watch as I had just gotten married. This might even be in the order that I discovered these channels. Let's start with the first one, Reekay. I know Reekay had a channel that captivated me back then because I liked his introspection, and he was in the place I had just been, the Philippines, and I felt like I was able to learn a lot about the area from his videos. And it is time to get rid of some of these nasty notifications. Let's see if I can do that all at once here. Even though I was now married to a woman I hadn't met when I got on the first of 4 flights to the Philippines, I still wanted to listen to him talk about his relationship situation out there. I have my own channel now and find it difficult to watch other YouTube channels these days for a lack of time, but Reekay was the first one. Now, he has 1,072 videos, almost 17 million views, 56,100 subscribers. As I recall, the videos I liked best were the ones where he was talking about wanting to get a relationship while nothing had worked out yet. I liked that he seemed serious and wasn't trying to be entertaining, like the second vlogger on my list. That would be, you've heard about him, Michael Fazio. I don't remember exactly how I came across his channel, but somehow I did. Obviously, I was in a little shock after watching Reekay and then seeing Fazio, but Fazio was, I think, sometimes in the Philippines, sometimes not at that time. He was amusing and eccentric and did a lot of videos walking from place to place in the Philippines. I had never seen anything like this man before. If I had to recall one particular video that he made, that would be one where he was around a tree somewhere and there were a bunch of Filipino children playing, and I thought it was a very nice video. There's also one you may have seen where he was hanging on the back of a jeepney with a ton of other Filipinos, and it was shocking how many were inside, hanging on like he was, and even sitting on top of that jeepney. Fazio amazed me with his knowledge of certain things, and I found him to be an intriguing character. He lost me, though, when he was talking about the mysteries of the dollar bill. Those were the good old days. Back at work after finally getting married, working on a spousal visa, webcamming with my wife, and watching YouTube videos of Philippines vloggers in what maybe could be called the golden age of the Philippines vlogging scene. It was all very exciting. I have been back to the Philippines 3 times since the initial time, and my wife and I hope to go back again later, much later in 2021. So I have a better idea of what it's like there now. Hoodwinked by an Angel has 2,530 videos, almost 9 million views. and 19,200 subscribers. I haven't been watching lately, but I think the lockdowns in the Philippines has, for the time being, changed some vloggers' usual video scheme, and there have been more live streams than normal. I hope to do them myself again someday, but back in 2015, I don't recall there even being any live streams. Would like to get to 1,000 subscribers first. The third name you may be familiar with, probably are if you're kind of an old timer in this, and that would be Pop65z. Ted is his name, and back in 2015 he may have been hitting his stride. As far as I know, he was kind of a big name at that time. You know, everybody's different, unique, and I liked his videos, even though there wasn't much pizzazz. And I can never remember exactly what his channel name was. Was it Pop65z, or was it PopZ65, or something else? I was amazed at how slow he talked, actually. That's the first thing I noticed. But I don't know, he had a certain charm to him. I couldn't understand how someone could speak so slowly, but for some odd reason, I liked his channel. He was there in the glory days of Philippines vloggers. I enjoyed listening to him. He kind of fell off the map for a while as I had trouble connecting with his channel for a long time. Pop65z shows 716 videos, 6,250,000 views, and 10,500 subscribers. But I think that channel is shut down now, and by himself, I assume. Recently, I was snooping around and I saw a video with him in it, but it was a channel with a different name. It was called The Philippine Connection. So I had tracked down Pop65z, but sad to say, it shows 899 subscribers with little else to know about it. No videos show up. Does anyone know what Pop65z means? When I sit back and think about what I was doing 5 years ago, Ted's channel was on my list of ones I watched from time to time. The next one on my list is a very polarizing figure. None other than Peter Vandiver. Peter Vandiver, what can you say about Peter V? I guess you either loved him or hated him. He was one of those guys whose channel showed up and people talked about. I did watch his videos for a while. I remember him being very opinionated and that many people were at odds with him. He didn't mince words about things, and who could ever forget his parting words? See ya! See ya! Maybe I have to work on that, but I'm not the original. I really miss those days, the good old days of Philippines YouTube vloggers. Even if I wasn't particularly interested, I would still watch his videos. Look at these characters, Reekay, Fazio, Ted, Vandever. Those were interesting times for sure. Vandiver was tarred and feathered and run out of the Philippines, it seems, a few years ago. He can be found in a handful of places today on YouTube, but the channel he had back then is no longer around today. There is a channel called Peter Vandiver, but it only has 21 videos, 9,200 views, and 166 subscribers. It's averaging minus 83 subs a month and minus 20,000 views a month. What's up with that? Sounds like Dominion is tallying his views and subs. You'll find some older videos of his on that channel, so it's kind of like the old days. I'm not saying I agreed with everything he said, just that after I got married and started watching these channels, his seemed to be getting some action at that time. That is to say, his channel was getting watched. And now, ta-da, the fifth one on my list, Frank Battaglia. That's right. Another channel that, like the others, has been around a while, was Frank Battaglia's My Philippines Interest. That's his channel, but the stats are different. I don't know what's happened to his channel lately. I came across something called Expat Forum Philippines. That's another channel that features Frank, and I assume it's his channel, but you know, these days with so many trolls and troll channels, who really knows? As I write this, was listening to Frank in a live stream he called Hawaii Bound, where he just said that he isn't married to Gilda. He has been adamant in other videos that he was married to her, and he just said that he wasn't. Very confusing. Who are you to believe anymore? He was the first person I knew who would do videos with a sock over the camera. Now, I followed Frank from when he was still in Hawaii. I remember the infamous tree video. One of the best videos he did, in my opinion, was one where he interviewed some women in Hawaii about their opinions on dating an older man. I thought that was creative, nice change. Now, Frank is also very opinionated. I guess if you weren't, then you wouldn't be very interesting on YouTube. Frank has a reputation of being the Terminator, ousting other vloggers who try to do him wrong, the Frank father. I liked his videos before he got overrun by trolls. He's still at it, though. I'm not sure it brings him the pleasure, though, that he would like it to. These 5 guys made learning about the Philippines interesting and fun. Do I have any others that I can think of that I watched about that time? I can think of some. There was Steve Montelli. There was The Real Deal. There was Mike Kaysen of My Philippine Journey. I remember him riding around the Philippines on a motorcycle or a scooter, whatever you call them. Then there is A Foreigner in the Philippines and one more, Blind Owl Outdoors. I didn't watch these channels a lot, but I was aware of them. So that is my trip down memory lane. These days, I have my own channel called Love Beyond the Sea, and I can tell you there isn't another one like it. I don't have the personality of a lot of others. I am serious-minded and all about marriage. You might think after finally getting married, after 30 years of the prime of my life going by, that I would stop being concerned about people who are single and singleness, but I just can't. I want to help others know they don't have to be alone. If you are, maybe you haven't gone where you're wanted. I know you can find a wife in the Philippines. I want to help you stay together. That's essentially what the majority of my channel is about. I don't expect to be a rock star like these men were or are in the Philippines, but I do want to help men find love beyond the sea. See ya!